Picture this: a tiny, box-shaped car swirling through the neon-lit streets of Tokyo. But look closer. Not a Honda, not a Suzuki, but a Chinese badge on the grille. This isn't just any car. It's BYD's latest electric weapon, and it's about to crash Japan's most iconic and fiercely protected market, the K-car segment. The question on everyone's lips: can a foreign upstart truly outmaneuver Japanese giants on their own turf? Or are we about to witness one of the boldest disruptions in global auto history? If you think the global electric vehicle, EV race is all about Teslas and luxury sedans, think again. The real front line is much smaller, a battlefield measured in centimeters, not horsepower, where competition is relentless. The Japanese K-car, a marvel of minimalism, regulation, and cultural belonging. It's the best-selling vehicle class in Japan, revered for its affordability, practicality, and a design that seems tailor-made for Japan's dense cities and narrow streets. Yet until recently, this market has been almost impenetrable for outsiders. Strict rules: length under 3.4 meters, engine size capped at 660 cc, tax and insurance breaks, and design quirks to suit distinct Japanese tastes. For decades, domestic brands like Suzuki, Daihatsu, and Honda have dominated, churning out icons like the N-Box, which sold over 200,000 units in 2024 alone, outselling even the Toyota Corolla. But in 2024, the unthinkable happened. BYD, a Chinese company barely known in Japan a few years ago, outsold Toyota in electric vehicles, despite only launching in the market 2 years earlier. BYD's 2,223 units versus Toyota's 2,038 might seem modest, but it signals a tremor. How did this upstart company, forged in the crucible of China's hyper-competitive EV market, start shaking the world's most entrenched automotive hierarchies? Let's zoom out. BYD, short for Build Your Dreams, began as a battery maker in Shenzhen in the 1990s. Fast forward, and it's now one of the world's foremost integrated EV firms, designing, manufacturing, and even selling its own batteries in-house. While Tesla revolutionized the premium EV segment, BYD is aiming for something arguably much harder: electrifying mass mobility for everyone, everywhere. BYD's global strategy is shockingly aggressive. New markets, new models, sometimes every month. In Southeast Asia, in Europe, now Japan. The company's best-selling Seagull electric hatchback is already winning hearts and wallets in China and beyond. But even that car, at 3.78 meters, is too large for Japan's K segment. So what does BYD do next? It engineers an entirely new, even smaller electric car, purpose-built to comply with Japan's K-car regulations. That's the story lurking behind a blurry photograph that emerged on X recently. A camouflaged BYD prototype, unmistakably compact, being tested at a secret facility, smaller than any BYD before it, suspiciously K-sized. The scene gripped Japanese auto enthusiasts and industry insiders alike, stirring rumors and anxieties across boardrooms in Tokyo. Is this the car that will finally crack the code of K-EVs? But before we answer that, let's understand just how formidable the K-car market really is. Following World War II, Japan needed affordable personal transport. The government introduced strict regulations that would birth the K-Jidosha, tiny, boxy, yet incredibly economical cars. Fast forward to today, and 1 in every 3 cars sold in Japan is a K. The market is ruthlessly competitive with razor-thin margins. Domestic makers have spent decades refining every millimeter, every yen of cost. Competing here isn't just a business challenge, it's an assault on national pride. Key cars are loved for more than size. They're cheap to run, attract huge tax and insurance discounts, and display a distinct Japanese sense of style. Young drivers, seniors, small families, these vehicles are woven into the fabric of Japanese daily life. Nearly all K models are developed, built, and sold by Japanese brands. International attempts, when they've occurred, have largely fizzled out, diluted by daunting requirements and cultural barriers. Enter BYD. Their new EV is expected to carry a 20 kWh battery, good for roughly 180 kilometers on a full charge. It'll retail at around $2.5 million, about $17,700 USD, with government subsidies up to $550,000, potentially shaving off a big chunk. BYD isn't hiding its ambitions. It wants to grab 40% of the electric K car segment within just a few years of launch. To do this, it's rapidly building a network of dealerships, aiming for 100 showrooms across Japan by 2025. and leveraging its scale as the world's dominant EV battery producer to keep costs brutally competitive. As Kevan Kargar, BYD's senior VP, puts it, "You can't win over Japanese customers without understanding them deeply. We're not just targeting sales, we're investing in learning what people here actually want." Yet the Japanese auto world is anything but complacent. Suzuki, the grandmaster of K, knows the threat. One dealer confided, "Young people don't have a negative view of BYD. If they launch a cheap electric model, it's a huge threat." Still, skepticism reigns. Developing a proper KEV isn't just about shrinking an existing car. Analyst Li Ming points out, to make a real K car, you must rethink architecture totally. It's not just about dimensions, it's about packaging, modularity, and cost. Add to that the fiercely loyal customer base, ultra-stringent safety and quality standards, and a supply chain that's been optimized for generations. And there's another wild card. Nissan's Sakura, a local hero, already dominates the electric K market, offering just enough range for urban life and a price that, with subsidies, dips under $2 million. For BYD to win hearts, it must beat Nissan at its own game, on specs, price, and that intangible made-for-Japan appeal. The insider publication Inside EVs sums up the stakes. BYD must surpass the Sakura's specs and undercut it on price. Anything less, and there'll be another foreign brand lost in translation. But BYD's courage signals something bigger. If they succeed, it won't just upend the K market. It could set off a chain reaction. Japanese rivals may rush to accelerate their own EV programs. More Chinese makers could jump in, sparking a price war that transforms mobility for millions, not only in Japan, but in any country with dense urban environments and a hunger for affordable green transport. So where does this leave us? On one side, BYD, ambitious, innovative, willing to bet big in a market few outsiders have even dared to enter. On the other, the storied traditions and technical excellence of Japan's K champions, brands with decades of cultural cachet and customer trust. The result is a clash not just of companies, but of philosophies. Speed and scale versus refinement and loyalty. Global ambition versus local legacy. But all is not smooth sailing for BYD. Regulatory hurdles abound. Japan's unique standards for minicars have tripped up many foreign automakers before. Even if the price is right, will Japanese consumers embrace a Chinese EV? Will BYD's new car measure up to the near-obsessive standards of reliability and after-sales support Japanese buyers expect? For every headline about a milestone, there's a rumor about a silent resistance, a whisper of skepticism in the market. And the story may not stop at Japan. If BYD's KEV cracks the code here, this blueprint could be exported to other right-hand drive markets, places like the UK, Australia, or Southeast Asia, further reshaping the global auto landscape. But for now, one question looms. As BYD's camouflaged prototype rolls through its secret road tests, can it truly become the first foreign brand to win Japanese hearts and wallets in the ultimate homegrown market? Or will it be yet another cautionary tale in the annals of global business, a David who poked the giant and learned why it was so hard to win? The answer may depend on more than specs and price tags. It may hinge on how well BYD can thread the needle between disruption and respect, between boldness and humility. As the clock ticks toward the public unveiling, Japan's auto world waits, uneasy, competitive, and perhaps just a little bit excited. Now, with BYD's move into Japan's beloved K car segment, let's fast forward and imagine what the ripple effects could look like. The shockwaves from this bold entry could reshape Japanese auto sales, influence global EV momentum, and even redefine how Japan's younger generation approaches car ownership. For decades, K cars have been the pulse of everyday life in Japan. Their humble dimensions and affordable price tags have made them icons in cities and rural towns alike. But with electrification on the rise and climate goals tightening, the question isn't just whether a foreign brand can wedge itself into such an insular market, it's whether BYD can actually change the game. Let's consider the most optimistic scenario first. BYD lands a hit with Japanese consumers, and the new electric K car outpaces expectations. The price, just about $2.5 million, thanks to BYD's efficient battery production, lands squarely in the sweet spot for younger buyers and families looking to downsize or save on fuel. When you add in government subsidies, which can knock off another $550,000, this car becomes a serious contender even compared to Japan's own bestsellers like the Honda N-Box or Nissan Sakura. Word spreads quickly in Japan's tightly networked consumer culture. Early buyers post their positive experiences online, the surprisingly lively acceleration, quiet ride, Apple CarPlay support, and a simple charging routine that fits seamlessly into their daily lives. One expert from Car News China described BYD's entrance as a deep commitment to the Japanese market, and it shows. Positive media coverage and word-of-mouth buzz start to erode old distrust toward foreign cars. Established Japanese brands, used to comfortable market leadership, suddenly find themselves playing catch-up. Behind closed doors at Honda and Suzuki, engineers race to close the price-performance gap. The competition becomes fierce, shifting into what some analysts predict could be a full-blown price war, not just for Japan, but for right-hand drive markets across Southeast Asia. All this doesn't just rattle companies, it forces the whole Japanese industry to speed up their own electrification plans. Local automakers, long accused of being slow on EV adoption, now face a stark choice: innovate or risk losing the next generation of drivers. The shock could even prompt fresh collaboration among traditional rivals, pooling resources for next-gen batteries or software. But there's also another, more cautious outcome. Even with a rock-solid product, BYD could hit invisible walls. Japanese buyers are famously loyal to their homegrown brands. Many have family ties or nostalgic memories attached to their Hondas, Suzukis, and Daihatsus. Analyst Li Ming points out, building a true K car isn't just about shrinking an existing design. It's a total rethink of architecture, from crash standards to usability in Japan's unique urban environments. If BYD stumbles on even small cultural details, like the way doors open for easy parking, or interior touches that appeal to Japanese tastes, it could reinforce the narrative that foreign brands just don't get it. Regulatory surprises and hidden technical requirements, such as the K car's strict size and weight constraints, could delay launch or drive up costs. Even the dealership experience matters. Japanese consumers expect meticulous service, and BYD's new showrooms will have to deliver on both hospitality and after-sales support to win trust. There's a third dramatic possibility to consider. BYD's success cracks open the segment, and other Chinese automakers surge in. We could see the likes of Wuling, Chery, or even XPeng develop their own K-spec EVs. That would drive prices down even further, overwhelming Japanese domestic players and potentially flooding the market with affordable new options. Global attention zeroes in on Japan, not just as a car-loving nation, but as a new global laboratory for accessible electrified transport. For the average Japanese consumer, the choices suddenly multiply. What was once a sleepy, predictable market becomes a hotbed of innovation and price slashing. This could affect more than just cars. It might inspire changes in how young people think about mobility, from traditional ownership to subscription models or car-sharing schemes supported by nimble EV platforms. Zooming out, BYD's determination to break into Japan could send a powerful message worldwide. If the world's most insular car market can be nudged toward electrification by a newcomer, other conservative markets may follow. But what does all this mean for you, the viewer, whether you're a car enthusiast, a tech watcher, or just someone curious about where innovation is born and tested? First, pay close attention whenever a new challenger steps into forbidden territory. Many lessons from BYD's Japanese adventure apply well beyond cars. Disruption rarely comes from where incumbents expect, and it almost always relies on not just technical know-how, but deep local insight, understanding not only regulations but also rituals and unspoken rules. If you're an entrepreneur or product designer, BYD's case is a masterclass in market adaptation. They didn't just shrink a Chinese car and plant it on Japanese streets. They reimagined the entire offering for K car buyers, down to the millimeter. From the right charging connectors to the digital services Japanese drivers prefer, BYD's research was exhaustive. When entering a new market, copying and pasting rarely works. Success demands listening and tailoring. For car buyers or investors, BYD's battle in Japan could offer a roadmap for how other industries may shift as the world goes electric and digital. Watch for similar patterns. Rising upstarts from emerging markets leveraging scale, affordability, and tech to break open mature sectors. And if you're fascinated by global trends, remember that shifts in one country, especially a trend-setting one like Japan, can have cascading effects. What starts with K cars in Tokyo could soon spark a wave of ultra-affordable EVs in Southeast Asia, Europe, and beyond. Already, BYD is testing right-hand drive models, hinting at ambitions that reach far past Japan's borders. There's also practical value for Japanese consumers. and maybe for you in your own local market. Increased competition almost always means more choice and lower prices. The arrival of BYD and its peers could pressure established brands to speed up software updates, battery innovations, and even rethink how they sell and service vehicles. Whenever disruption enters a protected space, it ultimately benefits the end user with better technology and more competitive pricing. Let's wrap up by returning to the big question. Can BYD truly break the barriers of Japan's K-car world and become a catalyst for change, or will it falter as other foreign brands have? Based on what we know, BYD has a rare mix of ingredients: world-leading battery supply, aggressive pricing, a willingness to localize, and, crucially, a hunger to understand Japanese tastes. The early sales data, BYD outselling Toyota's homegrown EVs in 2024, is a warning shot that things are changing. Young people do not have a negative view of BYD, said one Suzuki dealer. A cheap model launch is a huge threat. That alone suggests the ground is shifting. But history warns us to be careful. Japanese consumers are some of the world's most demanding. It's not enough to be cheap or high-tech. The product must genuinely fit into daily life. Even a single misplaced feature, a wrong color palette, or a tone-deaf ad campaign could tip the scales. My read? BYD won't steamroll Japan overnight. But their patient, research-driven approach means they'll earn a beachhead, especially with younger drivers and pragmatic buyers looking to jump into EVs without breaking the bank. This will light a fire under Japanese automakers, forcing a generational leap in key car design and electrification. The real winners? Everyday people who will get better, more affordable, and greener cars faster than anyone expected. And here's a secret fact the headlines often gloss over. BYD isn't just building cars for Japan. The new K model, according to insiders, is designed from day one for easy adaptation to other right-hand drive markets. That means the lessons learned from picky Japanese buyers and the engineering marvels required for K compliance will soon be exported to cities from London to Jakarta. What happens next in Japan might just shape the next wave of affordable electric cars worldwide. So, will you be ready for a new kind of car invasion? If you enjoyed this deep dive into BYD's bold play in the Japanese market, hit that like button and subscribe for more original reporting on the future of tech, mobility, and global trends. Drop us a comment. Would you consider a Chinese EV, or are you loyal to homegrown brands? And what do you think it would take for a foreign company to win your